talk about hindsight being 20/20, and I'm not so sure that I'm go along with that. I think my father-in-law had it right when he said that he remembered the good old days and they weren't all that good. And so it seems clear that memory can change, and circumstance too, when events that you dreaded in fact have come true. Like if timing was right when that wandering Jack invaded my place some 12 months back. With his foals on the ground, would I still be mad? Or would I, looking back, think he wasn't that bad? Of course, he did hock in, but they mostly all do, and his neck was right thin, but not really a ewe, and I could have been wrong about his feet toeing out. It could be a trend might have brung him about. And his eyes, they wasn't so awful small, and his rump, it wasn't that roofy at all. Why, what with coats from a Jack that nice, maybe I ought to raise my price. Thank you. No, you generally write about things that happen to me, and that's what you just heard. But every now and again, I get lucky, and I get to write about something that happens to some other poor hapless soul. And the last time this opportunity presented itself, it happened to a friend, actually a mentor of mine, a mule man of uncanny skill, a man of grit and speed. There's many a mule bent to his will, a legend or three. Even gals admire his way with mules. They liken it to art. Why, at any show you'll find some woman loading up his cart, while Laura sits there in the shade drinking something cool. Some gal will hitch his trailer up, another load his mule. And the mule itself is famous, a bona fide Jim dandy, a widowmaker named Jeb, about the color of good brandy. Yep, they're a pair, this mule and him, and things were going great until one Saturday afternoon there come a twist of fate. Now, I don't know the whole of it because I wasn't there, but witnesses have told me. So what I know, I'll share. It seems it was a pretty day, and so some folks come down to the arena just to practice for a show next month in town. And Norris put his mule to cart, and Jeb was moving right. That mule was trotting out right smart and bending just as nice, but something must have spooked him. Jeb turned his head to look, his eyes rolled back to show the whites, and off that rascal took. It's hard to say what happened next, but at least this much is known. Old Horace pulled the line so hard he broke his collarbone. That bone just snapped right half in two, and Horace lost the rein, and then there was no stopping that red mule hair hurricane. The near shaft broke and threw the cart right up onto its side, and Horace right into the fence, peeling off some hide. From looking, it was hard to tell what might have hurt the most, his collarbone, his broken hand, or his head when it hit the post. Meanwhile, Jeb kept running, with the broken cart behind, sending all spectators hunting any shelter they could find. He had just turned the arena when the broken cart come free, and he ran on round toward Horace, dragging just the single tree. Then Horace, with his bloody face and broken bones and hitch, just raised right up and stopped him. I said, "Whoa, you son of a bitch!" And that's actually the way it happens from what I know. Now, I said earlier that we grow a little hay on our place in Tomei, and that's the truth. But it's a little place. Excuse me just a second. But it's a little place, and certainly not enough to make a living. I spent my working life at the University of New Mexico. And as you can imagine, the academic community was a bit of a culture shock for me. And vice versa, I expect. But I have broadened my horizons, and I learned, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but one of the things I learned about was vegetarians. No, we don't have a lot of vegetarians in Tomec. And I learned, for example, that there's different denominations of vegetarians. Now, I didn't know that. Now, there's the Orthodox vegetarians, the vegans, and they use no animal products whatsoever. And then there's the ones that eat eggs and milk and sometimes fish, the ovo, lacto, pesco vegetarians, kind of like vegetarian reform. But the ones the most interesting to me are the veg evangelists. Now, these intrepid individuals have taken on the considerable burden of saving heathens like me from the sins of the sirloin. And we had a gal like that, a very devout veg evangelist, working with us. And she even had like a little revival meeting at one of our lunch soirees. And one of my friends there kept grinning at me all through this thing, and then later came by my office. "Do real cowgirls eat soy?" she asked, sashaying past my desk. She addressed me across her smoothie. "I don't know," I said, "I guess. Since I ain't no real cowgirl, I can't tell you that I know. And my saddle pals that's cowgirls ain't no telling how they'd go." But her question got me thinking. It might not be that bad. Eating soy stuff just might save some work and ease things up a tad. You wouldn't have to rope soybeans and drag them to the fire to brand or vaccinate them, or treat hoof rot or pink eye. Of course, soybeans take some water and you'd have to fight the weeds. But then again, no bulls to pin or donkey calves to feed. And you wouldn't have to round them up at all or castrate them. Of course, then there wouldn't be no calf fries, crispy, hot, and wavy. But I heard when you cook soy stuff up, it stays all nice and tender. I also heard it tastes just like your tongue hung out the window. Still, there ain't nothing saying that a cowgirl buckaroo might not sit down and have herself a big bowl of tofu. And me, I'll make no judgment. You don't know until you try. I think I just might have me some. You know, make mine chicken fried.
And continuing the theme, we have Charles Usmar, who I call Chad.